As I'm sitting here looking at the water, just want to talk to you about something, some thought that I have here. The power in being last, or being the power of being last. Interestingly enough, that a lot of people want to be first. They want their story to be told first, their narrative to be told first. And, they just want to go first, get their side of the story out in different situations. But there's a power in being last. And it's interesting. Oh my gosh, it is. Because I've been waiting 25 years to tell a story. I really have. And it's really good. And the Most High wanted me to release my side. 25 years I held my truth. And it comes down to when the truth really hits. Can you handle the truth? Unfortunately, there are so many people who can't handle the truth. You tell the truth and they just refuse to hear it. I think it was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who had mentioned something I heard years ago. He was saying that, and it may not be, I hadn't read it in years, but it was like, he was saying how people can be, some people that is, deaf, dumb, and blind. They're deaf because they hear the truth and refuse to process it. They see the truth and refuse to accept it. And then they're dumb, or can be dumb, because they both see and hear the truth, but refuse to even accept it. Can you handle the truth? I've been waiting 25 years to tell a story. And, it's been years, but I realized that I had to grow into certain areas, before I released my truth. Some of you all who may know me, you may know the past me, the man that was 30 years ago. Yeah, I hadn't always gotten to this point. I've been through a lot. But you know what? God, the Most High, is the Redeemer. That's the next thing. And you never should throw out or throw away people, because you don't know what they have to go to get to where they need to be, their destination in life. And so many of you look at people for where they are now, or where they were then, and then you see them now and you just refuse to even accept it. Oh, no, I know that's the same person. Da, da, da. People evolve. That's a word. Look in the dictionary. People do actually evolve. And I've evolved. Contrary to what anyone thinks, I can tell you that I'm free in my mind, body, and spirit. I'm far from perfect. I don't claim to be. But what I will say is that I put work in. I put work in to develop to become the man that I am today. And so those of you may know the old person many moons ago, it's a totally different person. And when I tell my story, it is not coming from a place of bitterness, because there was a time I was bitter about what had happened to me, and it was regarding my daughter, who is my only child. And I'm actually writing a book about it. For 25 years, I held my truth. I was belittled by her mother. I was cast aside, ostracized, to the point I lost hope. And it will be told in my book, and it's going to be a good read. But God, the Most High, wants me to release it now. It's my season to release and tell the truth. Because my daughter grew up for 25 years with a one-sided narrative. And the truth is, the narrative that she was given was not correct. Always remember that there are two sides to every story, always. So before you take one side of the story and run with that, hey, it may not even be what you think it is. People are real famous for that. I think the scripture talks about it, they call it itching ears. People have itching ears to see people fail, and I've never been that type of person. I want people to succeed. I've always been that way. I'm not jealous hearted by any means because I feel like if that's what you want to do or that's what you can do, then my time will come very, very soon. But for 25 years, I waited to tell my story. And the time is now for me to tell the story. And I will tell you that I am and was, still is today, the type of, I've basically been left out of a whole narrative. And what's unfortunate is that my child will have to grow up. She don't have to because, things can be corrected. But it's very unfortunate to see good fathers and good mothers too. It's nothing taken away from my sisters at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking from a father's side of the narrative of how my child came into this world. And she basically was just swooped away by her mother. Growing up thinking that father didn't love, that daddy didn't love her, all this kind of stuff, and which was far from truth. And my book will tell it all. And the beautiful thing about it is it's not even coming from a place of bitterness. I'm free. Despite what anyone may think, despite what child support may think, it was just whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not what it's supposed to be. Those of you who are leaders, you know by now that in order to be great, Yeshua said it. He said, in order to be great, you must suffer. Matter of fact, let's take it to, that's another thing. The Five Heartbeats, the movie. Oh man, I know y'all love the Five Heartbeats. Remember when Donald Duck Matthews, I think he had won like one of the Oscars, for the movie. And he got up there and everybody was cheering and, oh man, Duck, you should be so happy, because it was a group, singing group, and they had came to the top of their pinnacle. They had reached the top of their pinnacle. And Donald Duck Matthews, he was basically real sad at the event. I think it was a writing party or something. And one of the guys asked him, he said, why are you sad? And he said, a great writer told him, I think it was at a listening party, that Donald Duck Matthews will become great when he suffers the most. How many of y'all caught that? So many of y'all think you're supposed to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth and you're not supposed to be touched or scathed by anything on this planet. And I always know from great mentors, in order to be great, you must suffer. You will go through something, okay? But the true test is coming out on the other side. And while you're going through these things, who is by your side to help support you? Me, I'm self-made. I don't live by anybody's narrative, and there was a time that I did. My child's mother, some 20 years ago, had my daughter and just kept me from her. Violated court orders at least 5 times. Things that I would have been put in jail for. I mean, literally not letting me see my daughter. I remember times that I had wrote letters, when my daughter was born, to make contact. She wrote return to sender and send them back to me. Little did she know I still have those letters unopened. Date, time, and stamped. Date marked and things. Because the Spirit told me don't throw them away. I was very hurt. At the time, I was young, just like any young man. You go through things in life. Yes, I was in the street. Big deal. You know what I'm saying? It made me do who I am now. I don't have any shame in anything. Matter of fact, I was a convicted felon in 99 over some stuff that I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. But since then, I'm clean. You know what I'm saying? My background, all that is just straight. But it's part of learning and growing to who you become to be in life. And so for 25 years, she had this child from me, and she even falsely accused me of touching her. Yeah, actually, not once but twice, 2 times. When I think back over the horizon, you know, I could have been labeled a sex offender over a lie. I'm not afraid to tell the story because it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about truth, when the truth comes, can you handle it? Me, I lived through it. I've come out on the other side, and it's time for the truth to be told. I was a father who wanted to be there, a father who loved his child straight up, and I have family that knew this. And because I was pushed so far to the edge, not being allowed to see your own child, even when court orders were in place, I'm still not letting you see her. I don't care if the judge say take me back to court. And at the time, she would say things to me. She would call me an amoeba. And I was in my 20s at the time. I was like, what is amoeba? And she said, you're an amoeba. Go look it up. And she would literally talk to me like a child and spell it out. Ameob. How she spelled the word amoeba. Look it up. Look it up. You're the worst as the bottom of my shoe. Those are some of the things that was told to me as a young man. And at that time, there was a song that came out by Redman, and I think it was the same back in the 90s. When they be like, they say something to somebody, they be like, okay, I'll be that, I'll take it, I'll be that. But I did not know at the time I was receiving all of that into my spirit. I was taking it in. That's why you got to be careful of how and what people sow and talk and speaking to you. When I looked up in my 20s, I was in a homeless shelter. Then I gave up on life. I gave up on hope. I gave up on everything. I didn't feel worthy to even be a father. And when I was in the library one day, and I was 29, 28, 29, somewhere around in there. That's when a tall man came. I'm not going to tell you the whole story because it's actually in my book. And it is really, really good. And again, know that it's not coming from a place of bitterness. It's coming from a place of truth. And because my daughter needs to know. And more than that, you single parents or parents that have, male or female, that have been on the opposite side of the coin, we do have a story to tell. Because I know the system may say, well, because somebody didn't pay child support, because they didn't do this, because they didn't do that, then it automatically puts him in this deadbeat category. That was not my side of the story. Being a convicted felon, I couldn't find a job for years, actually. And so, things happen. And, I was basically kicked out of her life. And not to mention falsely accused of touching her. I mean, I'm talking about with no evidence. Not because I was caught alone with her, nothing of that. It was just because out of a bitterness plot employed to keep me from her. I actually have the social service letters to prove it. Yeah, this was many years ago. That's how bitterness ran. And it pushed me away because the more I tried to hold on, the more I couldn't understand that, hey, I just want to be a dad. I want to be in this child's life. But I was not allowed to. Courts didn't stand behind it. She just took the child and ran. So I started to self-destruct. Absolutely. That was a lot of pressure. I was a convicted felon in 99 and couldn't find a job. On top of that, trying to hold on to my child with a bitter mother, speaking about how I'm an amoeba, falsely accusing, So I moved on to build my life. I prayed for years before I left the area. I'm talking about 8, 9 years because I wanted to stay in the area to basically to be there for my daughter. And hopefully one day she would come to me. And it got to a place where I said, you know what? I think I was watching this Shawshank Redemption. I love those movies, by the way. And there's a lot of spiritual meanings in those things too. And at the end of the movie, Morgan Freeman, he had made a comment. Remember at the end of the movie, he was like, he could go free to be with Andy and break his parole. You know what I'm saying? Or he could just stay where he is because he was locked up for so long. And he went on to say, you know, he's a certain age now. Either get busy living or get busy dying. Oh man, tight. And I chose to live, and you know, I moved on with my life to build. You know, went through homelessness again to build. Went through a house fire and all that. That's actually on a YouTube channel. And so, yeah, how a shoelace saved my life. And literally, I almost got burned up in a fire. No joke. And I actually saved 4 people's lives, 5 including my own. Yeah, and just go to the YouTube channel, the Chef Joseph's Kick Sauce and Entrepreneurs channel. You can see the whole story there. But I'm not coming from a place of trying to prove anything. I'm not coming from a place of bitterness. I'm coming from a place of freedom. To those who have labeled me or think whatever you think, I'm a whole different man. We're talking 30 years ago. And I'm actually laughing about it because, you know, everybody deserves the right to grow and to flourish. Plants grow. But you can't hold one person into one type of narrative 30 years ago. And with that, it's all in my book. And the saddest thing about it is that I'm a wonderful person. I had so much and still have so much to offer my child that does not involve money. Yeah, money is currency. Sure, you're supposed to, you know, do for your own. I've always believed that. But what happens when you're not allowed to? What happens when the mother says, I don't need anything from you? What happens when the mother said, well, we don't shop at Walmart. We don't shop here. We don't shop there. You buy clothes, she takes them back because it's not the brand. You know what that can do to someone's self-esteem who does not have it? Yeah. In my 20s, I was kind of weak. Not saying a weak man, but I had to live through these things. Ironically, some 20 years later, I get a knock at my door because the child mother, she wants to drag me back into this system. She had always told me that she did not want my child. She said, well, if you want to be in my daughter's life, her daughter's life, then I will make you pay. I will make you pay. These were her words to me. And, but I still held on, and I wanted to be a father, but was not allowed to. So whatever you see when it comes to me of this alleged success, to those who may think whatever they want to think, just know I paid a price for it. And, to at least level off what life God has given us. And what's very unfortunate is that, that like Yeshua said, or Jesus, as some people call him, he says, suffer the children to come unto me. He said, if anyone offends at least one of my children, it's better for them to cast a millstone around their neck and be cast into the depths of the sea. Translated. I used to be an apostle, by the way, but I should be in the church an apostle, for real, straight up, you know what I'm saying? And I definitely have spiritual gifts. I don't have to prove it. I walk in it every day. But I will tell you that, translated, every child has a right to come into this planet knowing both parents equally, without the disruption of either one. That child was born to love. That child was born to be here, to, even if the parents can't get along, cool, but you don't bring that into an innocent child's sphere, because it can damage that child. That's exactly what has happened here. And this child, and it said, straight up translated, so this child comes into the world, and Yeshua said, allow the child to come unto them. That means come to both parents equally. That's the translation. Come to both parents equally. Even if the parents have differences, that child should be able to still come to them both equally. You know what I'm saying? And if not, the scripture says they should cast a millstone around their neck and be thrown into the depths of the sea. I'm not saying what's going to happen. I will tell you that it's power in being last. I can tell you that when you all see me, those who know me now, y'all know I'm an upright dude. I'm not about no games. I don't do drugs. I don't get high. Any of that. You know what I'm saying? Have I? Absolutely. I'm young. I grew up without a father. You try things. But you know what the beautiful thing is? I don't have to hide it. I'm free. You know what I'm saying? I'm free behind that. And I encourage any of you who are living in the shadows of your past, it doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter, man. As long as you're redeemed by the Most High, it doesn't matter. But just, I want to leave that, but I'm going to let you know I got a book coming. And I'm about, I looked yesterday, it's like 34,000 words. And yeah, it's going to be really, really, really good. And it's talking about, I won't say what it's talking about, but you will see it. But I will tell the whole story of what had happened. So to those who are living in the shadows of your past, just know the Most High God is the Redeemer. And I'll leave you with this. I don't know, I'm a little old school, but look, there's a movie called Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Those who know that movie is tight. Anyway, yeah, Mel Gibson and Tina Turner. Oh man, those are some really good movies back then. And ironically, a lot of it is telling the future where we are now. I can't think of that little boy's name. It was a little boy, he had like a mullet haircut. And he had like a little tutu thing. It was basically like caveman days. But he used to carry a boomerang. Man, look. This boy, he was probably like, how old was he? About 10, 11, or 12. And he used to have a boomerang. And I remember he slung that boomerang. He was like, I mean, way up there. Don't know, and what you don't see coming is that boomerang gonna come back. That's what I'm saying, right? The scripture says, be not deceived, God is not mocked. For what a man or one man sowed, that shall they reap. I am so glad at this space in my life that I've sowed good seeds. I've planted some bad ones and stuff too along the way, but for the most part, I strive for excellence, and I do the best that I can in the vessel that the Most High give me. And I've made all my wrongs right. You know what I'm saying? To the best of my ability. I don't walk in envy. I don't walk in fear. I don't walk in anything what people label you as. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, if I had to walk in the jungle, I'd much rather walk with someone who's been through the fire, you know, versus someone who had never seen nothing. Because first thing they're going to do, oh my God, you this, that, all that. But see, when you went through the fire, you got faith to go through and then come out on the other side. You know what I'm saying? But that boomerang has returned today. Can you handle the truth? Can you handle the truth? So I encourage all of you to be truthful in all your dealings. You know what I'm saying? Because it will come back one way or another. But the story needs to be told because there's a dad that works every day to the best of his ability to become a better person. And also a narrative needs to be told. Not out of bitterness, not out of strife. But when you've told that you're an amoeba, that you are at the bottom of your shoe, and falsely accusing people that could have messed my life up, not once, but twice. Not because they seen anything, not because, you did anything suspicious or alarming or red flag. None of these things. I'm talking about out of sheer bitterness. God don't like that, yo. I always said, you do what you want to do, but when you start bringing other souls into the balance, that's when you have a problem. A spiritual problem, that is. And it's very important. So I'm actually smiling, not, because my day is here. The day that I've been praying for over 25 years, a time that no one heard my hurt, They didn't want to hear it. We don't want to talk about it. Of course, didn't hear it. Nobody wanted to hear it. I had to tuck all this pain inside. Matter of fact, when my father passed, I was in a homeless shelter. Couldn't go to the funeral because I had no money. My book is coming out. Just know the truth will be told. And I didn't do this segment to talk about anyone. I'm just here to tell the truth. And it's, I got a smile on my face. See, my light is here. You know what I'm saying? I worked very hard to keep my light through thick and thin. I don't do anything wrong. I mean, I am just a person trying to make it through this lifetime just like the next person. But what I can say is that what a man sowed, that shall they reap. And so just make sure you're planting good seeds out here to people. Make sure that that you live in your truth. It was a day that I couldn't talk like this. It was a day that I didn't have the courage to even speak, you know what I'm saying? Because I was so lost behind someone's words. Never would that happen again because I know who I am. So what little you perceive me to have, those who may know me, or those who may just know a little bit about my story, just know that I worked to get there. No bank loans, no nothing. Homeless for 9 years, for real, through COVID and all. And when I didn't have no money, I donated plasma out these arms right here. I donated plasma to feed myself. And that's it. So this is a story from I don't want to say a lost father's narrative, but the time is here. And I want my daughter to know that I do love her. I always have loved her. But I wasn't allowed to be there. Yeah. So someone got some serious answering to do. Not call no names, but you know who you are. And for all y'all people, male or female, who didn't get a fair shot like I did, just know your redemption is here. At this point, I'm content with whatever way life goes. I'm good. I've made my peace. And you can't take that from me. So anyway, I'm going to close on that note. Nice chopping it up with y'all. I have no bitterness, but I will say, and let me say that I gotta end on this one right here, because I was thinking about that this morning. Y'all remember another movie, The Color Purple, when Celie basically when they was at the dinner table, and then when she was going, she was like, "I'm leaving. I'm going with Suge Avery." He basically, and Mr. was like, "No, you're not going nowhere. This, that, and the other." And then I think he said, "Over my dead body." And she said, "If that's what you want." There come a time when a person had enough. They had enough. And then when he went to raise his hand, I love that movie, by the way, to hit her as she was getting in the car, she threw up a black hex like that. Call it what you want to call it. I know the titles of it. I've studied it, and I will tell you that a lot of things we are told are not the way it's supposed to be and all this kind of stuff. But she said, until you do right by me, everything you think about is going to crumble. Let that sink in. You have literally, out of bitterness, caused a child to not know a whole side of the family. What, maybe 2 people, maybe 3. This child one day is going to want answers. Can you handle the truth? It's sad. And I'm saying, I take myself out the equation. You know what I'm saying? I take myself totally out the equation. But I'm saying, you have caused a child to grow up without a male part, her biological, in her life, things that she missed, birthdays that were missed. Oh, your daddy won't that because he don't love you. Is that really the truth? Was that the truth? Want the truth? You got an answer for that. I went through mine. went through mine. And I will end it on this. Like Celie said, until you do right, not necessarily about me, it's about the child now. Until you do right by this whole situation and admit to what's been done. I gotta tell you spiritually, and it ain't even out of hate. Until you make that situation right, you'll never be happy. You won't. You can lie to yourself all day, but you cause a generation to get halted. What type of price is that going to be? So, again, I'm not afraid of this video. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out here doing nothing wrong. I'm going to speak my truth. You know what I'm saying? So, just know, if you come at me, just know, come at me, but you're going to come at me with the truth. And you won't be catching me out here slipping and sliding with things I shouldn't be doing. I conquered and faced them demons many years ago. But I'm in a good place now. So hope this message reaches someone in love and light. And yeah, you need to do right. And you need to go ahead and stop all the foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And go ahead and come to the light and tell the truth. Thank you.